King of the Hill really speaks to Mike Judge's style, is that even though he wasn't writing it after a while, he did set the ground of what it should be, and
Yes.
all of these characters, it is character comedy through and through. The reason that Dale Gribble is so funny is because he is predictable.
He is
Um,
one of the best.
yes, everything they do is so in their character. No one really catches you off guard that much, and that is the joke. You know these characters, you know what to expect from them. It just catches you off guard how many times they can rewrite the same joke. Boomhauer being the best example. That is a one-note joke. You can't understand him. And how many examples of that joke could we bring up where each one is done differently and just as funny? Like right to when he's a little kid, the way he sounds a kid, the time where Boomhauer is retelling the story, but everyone talks like him, but he talks normal. You meet Boomhauer's mom; she has the voice. It's the same joke, but it's so good every time, and I think Mike Judge was raised by early six. I was too. I love old Beverly Hillbillies and all that shit. And I think that plays into his style, is that those shows were all based around everyone is predictable and true to their character. And that is what makes it funny.
I like that because it's rooted in a sort of like realism as far as people just being who they're gonna be, and
Right.
not really putting on some sort of like extra facade or something. They're just, you're like watching them live out their lives, and it just happens to be funny. And it's funny because of
Right.
just those like little moments, like someone said something funny that has to relate to like a phone call or just whatever.
100%.
Like I love the way that you said it better, damn it.
Well, it's slice of life character comedy. If you think about it, it's nothing too. And I would say Beavis and Butthead is that too at its best. I think when Beavis and Butthead is at its best, it's very simple plot devices. Like a fly gets in their house, they try to get rid of the fly, they break everything, they bring in garbage, and then they end up getting rid of the fly by breaking the window. But all the garbage in their place now attracts a mound of flies. End of episode. I mean, that's just so simple, but it's like taking it to the next level, but it's also still believable.
Isn't that like Seinfeld? Like they just take about something random and stretch it out for the whole
It's a
episode.
little less Jewish.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, God.
That's so great.
I love Seinfeld, absolutely. In fact, my
great.
boss at the Cricket Gallery, Michael, he wrote the first season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was a writer on a lot of those episodes. So yeah, that's
wow.
yeah, love Larry David and Seinfeld and all that stuff. I remember as a kid in like fourth grade, I had a really cool science teacher, and he knew that I liked Beavis and Butthead, and he was like, telling you got to check out Seinfeld. You're gonna love Seinfeld. And I just was like, my teacher sucks, so I like didn't listen to him. And then, I got into my teens and started watching it. And I was like, man, it's one of the greatest comedies of all time.
Yeah, I have the whole series on DVD. I just haven't gone around to buying Beavis and I don't know what DVD collection of Beavis and Butthead I should be buying. I like it complete as possible.
Then you want to seek out the King Turd collection, which was the collection I was talking about earlier that I had a hand in. It's online. It's like 78 gigabytes. And it's every single thing, every music video, every fire reference.
Okay. The King Turd collection.
That's what you said you were clipping together, right?
What's that, man?
That's what you said you were helping to get certain clips.
Yeah, that's like a 2-decade-long project at this point, and obviously a lot of the band scenes that we found. It'll go from like DVD quality all of a sudden to a VHS rip because that's all that exists. That's all we could find, So it's spliced together kind of crudely like that, but at least it's there. You know what I'm saying?
What do you feel about? Eric, you got anything else you want to ask? I was going to ask about the new season.
No, go ahead and ask. See if he's ready to tuck in yet. Earlier he was like, "No deal."
Ready to bash this like a piñata.
So the new season, okay. Like I said, the movie's amazing.
Yeah,
And there's aspects of the movie that in hindsight I'm surprised I liked. The smart future, Beavis and Butthead stuff. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
It makes sense.
It does. It does. And a lot of people have been like, "Oh, Rick and Morty and all this." I don't pay attention to modern shit, so I don't see how it's like comparable to anything else. Also, big deal because this show was here long before everything you're referencing. But as far as the series, there's some episodes that I am just so taken back by how, as I was kind of saying, things are off model now. The way it's animated looks like an Adult Swim show. That's what it is because it's digital and stuff like that. But I mean, the violence is very cartoony at this point. Like they get hurt and it looks cartoony. They're instantly healed. And I think of old episodes like where Beavis cut his finger off in wood shop, and like there's literal repercussions. The rest of the episode is about bandaging up his finger and stuff like that. And I think that made the violence hit so much stronger because Beavis and Butthead didn't feel like a cartoon, even though it was, just like King of the Hill. You felt like these characters could die. You felt like other people around them could die. If they somehow start a big tragedy, people get hurt, they paint it as like this is a real life thing. Now it feels like a cartoon. And I don't know, there's a few episodes. There's only been one episode so far that I will say was like a 110. It was so good. It's called Locked Out. And it falls into the category of what makes Beavis and Butthead good. They go to their house and Beavis locked the door, which they have never done before. And they realize they don't have a key. So they need to get into their house. And I won't ruin the rest of the episode, but it's perfect. It's exactly what Beavis and Butthead should be.
Is that the one where they go into the stranger's house?
No, because this is brand new. The one I think you're talking about is in 2011, where there's like a gas leakage in the town, and everyone has to leave the town, but they don't, and then they think that the apocalypse happens, so they just start going into random people's houses.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, speaking of the new series, I saw this thing online. I don't know where I read it, but people think Butthead's picking on Beavis more, so now like bashing him more. I mean, I didn't notice it first, but then I kind of noticed it when I read that. I was like, oh, that's so true.
Yeah, once you get more into the series, you'll notice too. Butthead is just like very cruel to Beavis now. I mean, there's like an episode where they're up on the roof of a house, and Butthead just like pushes him off.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, that's the last one I watched.
And it's just like, man, back in the day, I don't think he would have gone that far because, like I said, it didn't feel as cartoony, and he knows that Beavis can die. So now it's almost like they're invincible, so the violence is just up a notch, but not up to notch because, I don't know, it's like an action movie where you're 20 minutes in and they've already like survived 30 explosions, and you're like, okay, so the main characters are invincible, like there's
I know they got hit by a car. Wasn't the escape room one at the end? They tried to get hit by a car or something, or was that a different episode?
That was a different one. Yes, but they think they have VR glasses on, so they and they want to reset the game, so they need to die, so they jump in front of the car and stuff like that.
I was like, they should be dead. In the old one, they would get more injured than they did. Like.
And it would have been more realistic of how they got injured. And this was just like, I think they're in the hospital in the next scene, and then they get up and they just, you'd think that they didn't just get all these injuries. So I don't really know why the new show is the way it is. I know Mike Judd has a lot of control. I think the writing room is a lot of younger people. I think it's very diverse. And I think that was forced on by Viacom, maybe. That's speculation. It's not a lot of the original writing staff. I know that.
It's like
the movie was written by Guy Maxtone Graham, who was a part of the original series. Yeah. And I think that's why the movie is so in tone with what Beavis and Butthead is. I just feel like the show doesn't know what it is anymore. There's an episode where Beavis is by himself, he approaches a dumpster that's on fire, and the dumpster starts talking to him. And yes, and that's an Aqua Teen Hunger Force episode. That's not Beavis and Butthead. What the fuck are you doing?
It's like all
Very
these
odd.
reboots try to follow what kind of comedy is popular at the time, or
100%.
Simpsons tries to follow the humor of Family Guy or whatever.
Absolutely.
Then it changes what it originally is. It takes
And
away from the originality.
And see, I kind of hold guilt with this because I know that like a lot of the fandom is aware of me and, you know, probably cares what my opinion is. I made a bit because I had so many people messaging me, why aren't you doing a video on the new series? And I did put one up, and I was critical, but I was also, you know, I said, I'm glad it's back and I'm glad other people are liking it, but it is just so different. But then they are doing episodes where they're older, which is pretty much the original 90s Beavis and Butthead, how old they would be now. Those ones, for some reason, work very well for me. And I think it's just because they are so simple. I think that there's a little more satire to them, but it's the old classic, subtle satire, Beavis and Butthead. None of this like bash you over the head with it like South Park does. South Park must have like indents on their back from patting themselves on the back so hard every episode. My God. And I love South Park, but woof, geez, dude. All right, get off your high horse there. You make a cartoon. But now it's like, all right, so the one of them old, what was it? They need to get money, so they try and get more unemployment, and then they pretty much make Beavis get a job being a help aide for someone, and the help aide turns out to be Butthead. And then Beavis gets hurt on the job by Butthead while helping him, and then now he gets unemployment. You know, that's pretty fucking brilliant writing in my eyes. It's really simple. I mean, because pretty much if you were to paint them as 60-year-old men now, what would they be? Well, they'd be two losers milking the system. When you're kids, you pretty much are getting away with it on more of a different level. Once you're an adult, the government kicks in and honestly just helps you because you're so pathetic that, you know, like Beavis like, it's my money, and Butthead's like, we wouldn't even have that money if I wasn't so pathetic or something. And it's like, you know, so I think they're making good jokes in that regards. But then some of them, there's one where they're on a raft the whole episode and they're hoping to catch up with these chicks and stuff.
I need to catch up on the new season.
What's that?
Oh, absolutely.
I need to catch up on the new season. I've been so lacking because my work week is so
I
busy.
hope you like it. You know, like I said, I am a diehard fan. I am so in tone with what the original show was because I never stopped watching it at any point in my life. So when something this new comes out and there's glaring differences, they mean something to me. To someone who watches it every 5 years or, you know, watched it twice since the 90s and shit, they'll probably think the show is just what it was and great. Outside of them watching TikTok videos, I do not give a shit, and they do not make it more funny. It is just very pandering. The fact that they have to thank the TikTok people for allowing them to use their video, it's just so like, God.
Oh, yeah.
And no one, in 20 years, when the people who love TikTok now don't give a fuck, I'm going to still have to be watching these fucking TikTok videos because Beavis and Butthead decided to pander to an audience in 2022. And I'm not like anti-TikTok. I don't know anything. I could just tell you it doesn't make Beavis and Butthead good.
It's a little awkward.
It's very awkward.
He was trying. I thought it was funny though. Beavis trying to twerk or something. Whatever he was trying to do was kind of like, what the hell? What is this?
And that's where I'll say where the show is kind of changing in that sense. In that video, they have a chick with a really big butt showing her butt. And instead of sitting there being like, ooh, yeah. Instead, Beavis is like, I'm going to learn how to twerk. So that nobody gets upset.
I was wondering when they're going to start making the sexual comments, and it never happened.
They're not going to anymore, dude. They're not going to. Not in a video like that. Because that girl could fucking claim that.
Oh yeah, that's true. They could sue him.
God.
Unless it was a music video, then maybe they could.
The music video segments they've watched have still been very funny. But even then, there was a country music video where it's a really big fat guy at a bar, and pretty much the lead singer of the band teaches him how to be charming. And they're sitting, and their commentary was great. And they're like, "Hey, I'm the singer in the band, and I just want to let you know that you'll never be as cool as me." You know, and he's like ripping on guy, but they do not make fun of him for being fat, like once. You know.
Oh, really coming along. Damn.
They're really toning it down
Something going
a
on?
little
Is
bit.
the video fucking up?
Oh, no, I'm just sitting here trying to manage things. My bad.
Oh,
I'm doing like a vampire thing, right?
I was gonna say, what are you doing?
The lights on my eyes.
Dude.
Oh, I see what he's doing. He's trying to do this whole
You
like
start looking industrial metal band now. Get some turntables, we can hook it up. Yeah.
Oh my
Rammstein.
god.
No.
Dude, you're fucking hilarious, Sean. Jeez.
Oh, did you ever ask the past?
I actually, you know what? Funny that you mentioned. I was just gonna ask about some more of your background, if you don't mind. Let's put the Beavis and the Butthead to the side.
All right.
You know what's Sean like? Just do you like steak? Do you read books? I see you like pot.
Yeah. I like
You
that.
like marijuana?
I don't know. I'm just kind of a happy-go-lucky goofball type dude. I think the only time I get like passionate and pissed is when I talk about that new season of Beavis and Butthead. But we're putting that to the side.
That's politics for me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Get out of here.
Mask up, Jesus. I don't know. I guess I'm like an artist or something. I don't know. I did a noise project for 20 years, about 20 years. Let's see, I ran a record label for years where I released 8 tracks, that pre-cassette format.
Wow.
Let's see, I don't like steak. What was the other one you asked?
Shit. I asked if you read books.
Oh yeah, books? No, sir. Not my vocabulary. I learned to read on the internet like everyone else nowadays.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
I learned my punctuation by a guy telling me I was gay for not knowing where my commas go.
Oh dang.
Oh my god! Back in the true Xbox Live rage days.
Yeah.
You suck.
That's how
You can't
learned
even
back in my
type.
day. Someone told you sucked online for being dumb, so you fucking learned. How are kids gonna learn now? They're not allowed to tell each other they suck.
No, it's cyberbullying.
It's like, hey, your comma placement's off, but you'll get it.
It's like the new
That's
measure
not
of
gonna help
learning.
me.
Oh. Beavis fell over.
Yeah, these are pictures I drew in middle school. Actually,
You really?
I had their bodies, but I don't know where their bodies went. I made
That's a
it out
really
of
good
craft
job.
color paper, and I think I glued part of his head. Yeah.
Oh, I love them, man. Those are really good. They're not easy characters to draw. You even got Butthead's mouth like not centered, which is accurate.
I know. I just had to look at a picture from the internet when the pictures were somewhat decent back in the day, and yeah, I don't know where the bodies went. It was like
they're very
perfect
hard characters to draw because if you ever like got the how to draw cartoon books as a kid, everything falls into like circular dimensions. But Beavis and Butthead are just so drawn wrong by those standards that like most cartoonists have like a struggle with them.
I think my ADD made it exceptionally easier.
There you go. Good.
I love you being like, where are the bodies?
Yeah, really.
I beheaded them, and now
Are
they're
they
my
in the
trophies. Oh God! Did you ever play the video games as a kid?
Oh God, yeah, dude, right here. I got the Sega Genesis. Yeah, that's Sega Genesis game is fucking best game ever. Everyone hates it because it's really cryptic and hard, which I understand because I remember like I could not figure that shit. That's where you have to find all the concert tickets to see Guar.
Oh God! Yeah, I heard the Super Nintendo version sucked, but the Sega Genesis was better.
The Super Nintendo version is like a simple platformer. Like you could pick it up and play, but it's really not like in tone of a Beavis and Butthead
The
game.
detail just isn't as good.
Right. The Sega one, it's like an open world almost, and you have to go find objects and use them correctly. But what's awesome about it is those first like 28 episodes, like when it was all like, you know, the paint thinner and shit like that. You don't recreate that specifically, but you recreate all those episodes. And I think that's what made that game so hard for people, is because those episodes were banned so quick that people were playing the game and they didn't like know the references enough to figure out what to do. But like, you get to cut down Anderson's tree. You get to blow up the concession stand at the drive-in. And I think if the game was really easy, parents would have noticed and complained too. I think that's maybe why they made it so difficult, because you really were doing some pretty badass shit in the Sega Genesis game, honestly.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. That game rules.
Damn, so you're so much of a collector that you even collect their image on your body.
Oh yeah, yeah. I even got right here Beavis's drawing of a naked chick.
Oh my god.
Hold on, I gotta switch that. Hold on. Do you mind doing that one more time for the
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Whenever I see like a badass biker dude and he has like a pinup tattoo, I'll be like, yo, dude, check out mine. And you'll like always see that guy laugh harder than he ever fucking has.
Oh my god.
Wow, that's killer,
That's
dude.
awesome.
Like, awesome. I've never seen a cooler tattoo yet.
Thank you.
So do you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, I have a girlfriend. Yeah.
I think I've seen her. You post pictures with her, right, on Instagram?
Yeah, and the best part is her name is Jenna Doll, which sounds like genital.
Jenna sounds like a pinup name. Jenna Doll.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Jenna Doll. Miss January.
That's when I knew.
Hilarious.
All right, so she must really love your collection too. She must have the same similarities in common then.
Yeah, we met over Beavis and Butthead in 2016, quite honestly.
Oh wow.
And yeah. So Beavis and Butthead found me love.
Wow. I can't
genital.
see if they can't find it, but they helped find it.
I think they've made countless connections. I mean, just look at us right now.
So
Actually,
I know, right?
Three amigos.
So besides Instagram, do you have any other? Well, see, I didn't know you were even part of the Cricket Gallery, because I looked up some like Beavis and Butthead thing on Instagram to see if there was a page somebody was putting together of random stuff that I could follow, and then I found you, and I was like, okay, this is going to be the best it gets. And then I found Cricket Gallery, and I think it's just because I followed you, it popped up, and then I saw a picture of you. I was like, wait, what? It works there. But do you have a Facebook page as well? Beavis and Butthead do MySpace?
Yes, that's mine.
Okay, I didn't know that either, because I followed that after following you as well years ago.
Yes.
So
that used to be Beavis and Butthead do Facebook, and then someone took the name, so then I just changed it to Beavis and Butthead do MySpace.
yeah, I figured. I wasn't sure which page I should follow. I was like, is it this one or this one? Because then I saw who had which one has the most followers, because then I know that one usually has the better content. 9 times out of 10.
Not in this case.
Oh, really? I thought it was kind of cool what they're posted in there.
I feel like there's one. I think I'm banned from it, and I don't think it's for any reason outside of that they just didn't want me to be in the group or whatever. And
What?
I think that group, before I got banned, it was lots of politics and shit like that. But the two that you're in, mine and the other one there, the other ones, I think they made me an admin of that at some point, even though they took the name. And
Oh God.
that's all gravy, dude. That's all people just discussing Beavis and Butthead, as it should be, because I've been a part of the online fandom of Beavis and Butthead, since you can imagine. And it's like the least toxic fandom on the internet. So strange.
Yeah.
If anyone gets in a fight, they call each other a fart knocker, and it's just squashed. I swear, it's just like the perfect. But like, I've been in the South Park community for over 20 years, and that's like the most toxic community, as you can imagine, though, because the show became political. So the fandom is that's what they talk about stuff. And I just want to talk about my favorite Kenny death over here, motherfucker.
Great, nice. You're like top 10, and they're like, no, actually, how about that episode where they talked about COVID?
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, well, Kenny didn't die from it, so I don't care.
How dare they? You have
I can't believe he
a
didn't die.
South Park page too, right?
Yeah, 90s South Park on Instagram.
Yeah, I just saw that a couple days ago. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that page really blew up in the past few months. That was kind of crazy. Yeah, I've been big in the South Park. Actually, a true story that not too many people know. I've been in the South Park community so long, since like 1998 on the internet. And
Wow.
when I was like 13 or something, for my birthday, I asked my mom to buy me a domain for my South Park fan page. And it was southparkstudios.com. And all I did was have the domain hyperlink to my GeoCities page, if you remember.
Wow.
Because I wasn't skilled enough to like do real HTML and shit, but I wanted a real domain. So by the time I was like 14, I got contacted by Comedy Central, and they paid me $400 for southparkstudios.com. And as you know, southparkstudios.com has been the South Park website ever since.
What?
So yeah.
Man, they should have paid you more. Look at it now.
Dude, I was that age. Like in my mind, I was talking to Matt and Trey, probably. You know, I was just
$400.
I think in my head, I was like, this story is so awesome. It'll just like whatever. Like there are not too many people who have ever been impressed by that story. So it's.
Would you object to South Park crossing paths with Beavis and Butthead?
In my opinion, hold on here, guys.
Oh, it's break-in. It's a break-in.
Oh, he's gonna have to beat some ass.
Because my Mandela effect, I swear that Beavis and Butthead time traveled, and they went into the South Park universe. It was crazy, and they were still cartoons though. It was weird.
I always looked at it as Terrence and Phillip were the true crossover. Like if they were to do one, I feel like it would. I don't know. I guess I just don't think it would work too great. I always thought the best crossover ever for Beavis and Butthead would be Scooby-Doo. I think that would be a fucking fantastic episode.
Like Johnny Bravo meets Scooby-Doo.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was a random episode.
That's one of my favorite episodes of Johnny Bravo and Scooby-Doo is that crossover. That's just so funny.
And I think that's where the Thelma cosplay has come in recently.
Sorry about the noise. There's like a train going by or some shit.
Oh, okay. I thought it was your garage.
Oh, is that what that is?
It's like all those. Johnny Bravo has a thing for Thelma, but now you see cosplay naughtiness with Thelma, and I'm like, oh, okay, Johnny had it right.
Thelma's hot.
Little
Thelma's what every guy wants now.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, all the hosers who didn't know how good she was.
See, I was ahead of the time because I thought Janine Garofalo was hot in the 90s.
Janine Garofalo.
And now that's every girl.
And Mystery Men. She did look pretty good in Mystery Men. Good luck with that, though.
Janine Garofalo is really Daria, if you think about it.
Yeah.
She'd be good live-action Daria.
Great live-action Daria, yeah.
Have you seen that mugshot of that guy with a big-ass forehead, and they call it Beavis?
Yes.
I can't.
He's got a lot of, like, scratches in his forehead, too.
Oh, my God.
It's like he's got all these slices or some shit, man. It's weird.
It's so odd, man.
It's creepy.
What's funny is in Do the Universe, they have those mugshots that they drew of them, and it looks just like that guy for Beavis.
I bet you that's what they use.
Well,
they have
he's famous now.
Gosh, the listeners and the people on the video version are going to forgive us for
that. For everybody.
I wonder if you think there's going to be a season 2. I think there's going to be a second season coming out at some point.
Yeah, there is, because it's already being animated and shit.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's a guarantee. I hope that it just continues on, because I will say that every episode it gets better.
Yeah, you got new ideas, new things, the future is giving them new opportunity. Yes,
and I think it's pretty. I think Beavis and Butthead is just like endless, because it's so simple, and the character. If it's almost like AC/DC. It's like if you like one song, you're gonna like the rest, because it's the same thing over and over again. You know. Actually, it better is what Matt and Trey from South Park said about Beavis and Butthead. They compared it to the blues. And they said it's the same thing over and over again, but it's always good. And I think that's a true testament to the timelessness of those characters.
That's like Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Fuck with it. What's that?
It's like Red Hot Chili Peppers. They like really found their sound in the 90s, and they just kept it since.
Yeah.
I just saw them actually last month, I think.
From California.
Yeah, I know. He's a freak.
You guys ever watch that freaking documentary about Woodstock 99?
I have not seen that yet.
They're like talking about the Red Hot Chili Peppers playing that fucking that last song, and then they just the audience just starts setting fires to everything.
Huh?
That rules. Well, that's
they like tore down
there.
They tore down the sound tower and everything. It was crazy.
I want to watch that because I remember when Woodstock 99 was happening, and you could like watch it on pay-per-view, but like I couldn't get it.
They talked about that whole thing too. The people who got ripped.
Do you have anything from your collection you can show on camera? I forgot to ask that earlier.
Honestly, right now, because I just moved, no.
It's in a box?
Yeah, it's all in totes and shit. Here's a magnet. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, thanks for the magnet, Sean.
Yeah, sorry, dude.
Like your magnets over there.
Sorry, literally in the middle of a move right now, so it's just like all fucking. But I mean, if anyone watching this wants proof, there's plenty online. You know.
I know, right? You got you mostly do it on Instagram though, right? You show most of that shit on Instagram.
Yeah.
I was just watching you talk on the Instagram last night about how you felt about the new cartoony violence in the newer season versus like when things had repercussions.
Yeah, it's like I said, I think it's getting better every episode. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm getting used to it, but I don't think so. Like I said, when you watch that Locked Out episode, that is 100% an episode that could have happened in like 1996. It's so good. I laughed harder than I did the movie. It was just
watch that.
And when the violence happened in it, it gave you that, oh no, like you know it's about to happen. And with them, you always know that it's going to happen because they are so stupid. And it's just that buildup of like, oh God. And it's like, even though it's a cartoon, it still hits. And that's how Beavis and Butthead, I think, should make you feel with their violence, is that it's just like kind of cringe. Yeah, it hurts.
A little bit.
I know you mentioned earlier that the animation looks different because it's digital, but them two alone, the animation's a little different compared to the animation of the other characters in the show.
That's the big one. I think for the most part, they look the way they should. When they move too fast and stuff, it doesn't look right. But all the background characters look straight out of like Archer or that's. And I think that's just truly. I think back in the day, they had Mike Judd sit down and draw all the side characters, and then they'd have someone like touch them up and shit. I just think it's not. They don't bother with it now, and they're just like free range to the animators. Draw what you want in the background and shit.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I liked that a part of the humor of the old show was that everyone looked like that to me. I remember there's the one where they get the pork rind stuck in the vending machine and they go in and ask the guy for their money back. And just the way he looks and he's like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. And it's just moments like that were so fucking funny because it's so true to life. And the way that they like paint side characters and stuff in the new show, of course, what are people like anymore? I don't know, but it doesn't.
I know.
It just doesn't seem like real people, you know, or real reactions to them either. Like back in the day, people almost responded to them like they wanted to be mean back to them, but they probably assumed that they were two mentally handicapped kids, so they kind of talked to them like, oh, yeah, you know, they almost humor them a bit. That seems more true to life to me. How people would really respond to these two cackling, ugly children, you know.
I know, and they do that kind of in the episodes. These people are like, "What the hell is wrong with these people?" I wonder if Daria is going to make a cameo in one of the seasons.
She was in the new movie in the court scene. She's sitting there when they're.
Oh yeah,
I didn't catch that.
She's like a
in fact,
witness or something.
fun fact from that, Buzzcut. and let's see, Todd and Stewart all were not in Do America. And then in Do the Universe, in the court scene, they are all sitting there almost to make up for it. Well, not Todd. Todd almost got a whole scene in the Do the Universe, which was awesome.
I like the principal. He's so spazzy.
Yeah, he's the best.
I feel bad like he's gonna have a heart attack. Wait, didn't he have a heart attack in the new movie?
No, at the end of the original series finale, he has a heart attack, and I think it's insinuated that he died.
Oh shit!
And then Buzzcut gives him mouth to mouth, and Butthead's like, "Did you see that?" McDicker was all like, "Ooh," and then Buzzcut made out with him.
Oh my god!
Oh man!
Oh, excuse me.
But yeah, that's my favorite side character, the Principal McVicker. That voice is hilarious.
They're so funny. You did that pretty well too, actually.
What are you doing? That's the thing too. I worked at a pharmacy a few years ago, and I had this lady come in, and after everything she'd say, she'd go,
Oh my god!
Like
I would laugh at that.
and it made me realize, like, the core joke of Beavis and Butthead is that every character has a tick. Van Driesen always goes, okay. You know, McVicker's at, whoa. Like, everyone has, like, a nervous tick. It's like everyone has PTSD from something.
I know.
Which you could argue is probably
because of Beavis and Butthead.
Yes, yeah.
It's knowing them, you start developing something mentally wrong with yourself.
When I heard that MK in the movie, I was like, yes.
Yes. I remember when South Park came out, a lot of people said that Mr. Mackey was a ripoff of Van Driesen because of the MK thing. But
yeah.
I think it's two completely different deliveries, though.
One's not elongated. One's stretched out more. It really
Absolutely. Mr. Mackey's way more exaggerated. Okay.
Yes, he almost like gulps the line. He's like,
Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Mackey. Okay.
That was like one of the first things that drew me to South Park, though, was like the interaction between him and Cartman. I can't remember the scene now, but there's this bit that they had going on, and just I heard the interaction between those two, and I was like sold. And I was like, man, I got to start sneak watching this show too.
Yeah, South Park. I still love South Park. Even if I like dog on the direction, I think it's the direction that it needed to go to stay relevant for over 20 years, which is fucking incredible. Because when you think about when it came out, it was almost a bunch of catchphrases on T-shirts and reoccurring gags. Oh my God, they killed Kenny. Screw you guys, I'm going home.
Yeah.
Puking. Which I love that era of South Park because it is very charming and simple and more about the boys and the town. Early South Park represented South Park. Now South Park represents like the entire planet. It's like a overall satire. But I love how early South Park, it was like there's a mad scientist up on the hill. Jesus lives in town and he has a public access show.
Yeah, so good. So good, man.
Like there was always something destroying the town.
There's always like a bunch of like celebrity appearances later on, like I don't know if it was like the actual, but like they had like Paris Hilton in that one episode, and like
I guess I haven't watched the latest ones.
Tom Cruise, get out of the closet.
Yeah, that was a great one. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, South Park's when Beavis and Butthead went away in '97, South Park came out like pretty much right around that time. And I think for me as a kid, because the original series finale of Beavis and Butthead, I remember crying because they walk off into the sunset, and I was just like, oh man, my favorite thing is really gone, you know? And and then South Park came out, it was like the perfect rebound, really.
There you go.
It came out the year the movie came out, right? Or did they come out in '97?
The movie, 97, August of '97. And then Beavis and Butthead went off the air in November of '97. So it was out, but Beavis and Butthead was pretty much all the months that South Park were out. Beavis and Butthead was just announcing its final episode coming out soon. You know? So when South Park came out, that took. I was 10 in '97, and I just remember you go to the mall and fucking everything. You went to the local carnival and it was all bootleg South Park. South Park was fucking everywhere, dude. Those were good days. That was a good time to be a kid. You know?
Good time to be
My
a kid.
background keeps changing colors on me.
Yeah, I noticed that.
I
That's
like
interesting.
it.
Goes light green, dark green. You see, I was trying to use the green screen, but when I use the virtual background, it lags my
Should be the
camera.
first podcast to give someone a seizure.
Yeah. Well,
And
we
that's
Ugh.
what you guys need.
This is
Oh.
the yeah. We need that to happen. We need to get
I love your
famous
name,
somehow.
by the way. There,
Big butt.
Oh yeah, yeah, you should see it.
Oh yeah, it's a big butt.
Hell yeah. Probably won't like fit in the
It'll fit in
camera.
there.
Gosh, dude, when the main villain in the movie knocks them from the spaceship with the claw, and then they come back, rebound off the satellite, and she
Oh,
it blows them away with the afterburners. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
She was like, nope, don't look over there.
Yeah, no, see, I have nothing bad to say about the movie at all. That movie is so good. And one thing I will say, I always said that Do America stands on its own because every dumb guy duo movie you've ever seen has a scene where they kind of split up and then get back together, like they get in a fight. Do America does not do that. And I always said it's because it's not in their dynamic to actually like each other. They don't really seem to like each other that much. But they did do that in Do the Universe. And I think they did it really well.
Yes.
Butthead sees an older brother beating up his younger brother, and he misses Beavis over that. It's like,
Yeah.
they miss the toxic elements in their friendship. So that's never really been done either. So it was brilliant, man.
Taking the whole like scene and just kind of like flipping it on its head, so it's still kind of fresh, even though you're still
Absolutely.
doing that trope. Yeah, no, that's
Absolutely.
actually
Yeah, because that trope's been done to death. Even the go into space trope's been done to death. That movie is brilliant because all it did was a bunch of shit that's been done, but it made it fresh.
I know
yeah.
the time they a lot of movies and stuff they harp on the time travel since Endgame.
Yes, what I also think is awesome is that Beavis and Butthead never once in the movie realized they are in the future.
Yeah.
But they never do. They don't really question the cell phone too much. I like the commentary that cell phones are so advanced now that even people as dumb as them can figure it out.
Yeah.
Because you can just talk to your phone now and it hears you and shit. I mean, because of course they would have never figured out typing or anything like that.
Never.
Yeah, Beavis is trying to have a conversation with it.
Yeah, and even that, I mean, the love interest trope seems like it would never make sense in a Beavis and Butthead movie, but then it's just the misunderstanding that Alexa is, real. It's
I
brilliant.
really liked it. It was like I don't know what kind of CD plot that was or whatever, but that was a nice little spin.
I love
Man,
that.
it's
I
just
should
kind of
ask
like
Alexa. Alexa, do you like Beavis and Butthead? Sorry, she doesn't know them.
Technology sucks.
whoa, she doesn't know them.
I should have had it turned up louder so you could have heard
Sounds like
that.
Alexa's a dork.
It literally said she doesn't know them.
Yeah, she's like, sorry, I don't know them.
Wow.
She's probably lying. She doesn't
Yeah, really.
want to associate
Science
with
has
them.
gone too far.
Well, hey, Sean, just one last question here so we can wrap up for you and then let you get on about your day.
Yeah, I got stuff to do.
For real. So I was going to say, it seems like back in the day and, across time, whatever, Beavis and Butthead have always been pretty polarizing. From what you were telling us about certain groups online and followings of the series, it seems like you're pretty polarizing yourself, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know,
I'm
man.
really
I
good
feel
at
like people like either
I have
like,
been
oh,
told
yeah,
I am polarizing, so yeah.
Maybe you're a polar bear.
Kind of,
gosh.
dude. Look at me.
he's like, I'm ice cold, baby. No,
If I was in a gay club, I would be a polar bear.
We all have a little
That's
Beavis and
pretty
Butthead in us.
You know what I'm
do
saying?
you think it's envy that makes people kind of like
No, I think for the most part, people No, I don't think as far as in the Beavis community. I think one guy started a group and he just wanted to. There have been 2 or 3 people that have tried to surpass my collection, and there's been a few people that have seen the success, I guess, of me being me, and then they've tried to imitate it by starting their own groups or starting to collect it themselves. And like there was one guy in Australia that was like, I technically have more VHS tapes than him. And it's like, yeah, but you just bought the US version 60 times. They're not all,
Oh, wow.
you know. And to those people, I say, good luck.
At some point, you're going to have to donate to the Smithsonian when you're on your last limb.
If they want it. But
oh, really? They do?
I've never heard of Smithsonian.
The Smithsonian, they are known for collecting memorabilia such as what you have, or what do I have in here?
So you think that like a big ass like National Museum is gonna want to collect his
like archiving stuff from the past.
Gonna archive his Beavis like years from now when everybody's dead. The Smithsonian will still have this exhibit.
Yeah,
this massive collection.
Well, thank you for believing that.
Well, I think your collection is pretty cool. All those toys, tapes, clothing.
No, trust me, I love the collection. I mean, I would like to. I like living amongst my collection, but I guess like it'd be cool to open a museum or some shit. But at the same time, I don't know.
You could turn half your. I don't know how big your home is or what the layout is, but some people like the McDonald's collector. Like he'd be as big as you are. I love that collection. Like he turned his home into like a part of his home or into a museum, so you can like go there. Yes. I don't know if you can now, but yeah.
I guess I kind of did that over the years. Like there was a dude who flew out from Taiwan or some shit to see the collection, and there's people who have traveled states over to see the collection, and because I mean I lived in an apartment, and I didn't even have a microwave or a stove. Because I'm kind of, outside of being a collector, I'm like a fucking minimalist.
You're a hermit.
Kind of like a big oxymoron or contradiction to my existence. But so yeah, people would come out, and I had like a guest list, and people would sign it and shit. Because all of a sudden, once it got kind of known, there were people hitting me up that wanted to travel out to see it. And they'd get here, and I'd show them the collection, and then I'd take them out for nachos or.
We'll get you the Beavis and Butthead treatment. Let's eat what they eat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's actually not bad. That's pretty genius.
But no, I don't know if I'm polar. I think there's a very select few people who were like, well, I could have done that. So then they tried to. And I just think at the end of the day, I don't think the world wants 2 people obsessed with Beavis and Butthead. And also those people weren't really obsessed with Beavis and Butthead. They hadn't seen every episode. They just were like, well, that guy did that, I can do that. Kind of like what metal is. Like someone comes out with a little tweak to metal, and then 50 people are like, I'm going to get famous for that too. And then the genre gets oversaturated and dies, and then someone else adds something new.
Yeah, I try to stay away from mainstream usually.
Yeah. Metal needs to give up.
Yeah.
Like rap has been around 30 years, and I'm pretty sure no genre can say that. But metal's trying, but it ain't doing too good.
No, man. I mean, well, I can't argue with you on that one.
Thank you.
I've been subjected to some
stuff
recently. No. Oh, wow. You're on the Arguably Awesome podcast. He's talking about winning arguments with us.
Oh. There is no argument. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, thanks for watching our interview with Big Butt over here. It's been a great time with Sean Beard. He's one of the world's largest collections of Beavis and Butthead's memorabilia right there in his house. He just moved, so obviously you didn't see it. I mean, it happens. He's got to move into a new place to put his shit in. It's just how it goes.
Hey guys, it's the thought that counts.
And this episode, I hope, has brought you a boner.
Yeah.
Boing.
And maybe a stiffy.
I feel like I learned a lot.
Yeah,
I learned that when you get on a podcast, that they'll give you $70.
He's like,
what? Oh, you should plug your social media.
Yeah, that's all right.
he already said some stuff. We can
We'll
splash
put it
some
in
stuff
here.
for him.
Eric will type it up.
Check out my butt.
Check out his butt.
Go to Instagram and check out his butt.
Yeah.
You'll find the link in the
Hashtag check out my
description below.
Hey, thanks a lot for having me on, guys, though. Really, it was a good time. You guys are both awesome.
It's been a pleasure. Hope you don't mind me messaging you later.
Hey, you know,
Rock on,
slide into my DMs, Eric.
That's me, bro. All day, every day. I mean it, every day. Ask Max Cook.
Oh yeah, God, the last guy. Every day. Creepy.
Later.
Much love.